All right, let's talk about the lifecycle marketing framework itself. So this is a systematic way to organize, to design, and to measure your customer journey so that you can create predictable results and predictable growth within your business. The lifecycle marketing stages, there are 9 of them, are an individual granular look at different sections of the customer journey that you can analyze independently and also as a overarching strategy. Is there a thread that ties these stages together? So at a super high level, we can break those stages up into 3 sections: collect leads, convert clients, and create fans. And then each of those 3 sections has 3 subsections that will help when we get to analyzing things at a more detail-oriented level. You don't need to have the individual stages memorized, but just bear in mind that it will serve you to be able to focus and compartmentalize each section of your customer journey while not losing sight of the fact that these stages don't exist in a vacuum. They are part of an overarching strategy. There is a thread that ties them all together. So as important as it is to have something in each of these stages, it is equally important to make sure that those stages were designed with respect to one another and that there's a cohesive thread that ties them all together and ultimately creates the fluid customer experience that we are looking for. All right, in the first section, collect leads, you have target, attract, and capture. And I'm going to put an asterisk next to capture that I'll explain in just a few minutes here. In the convert clients section, you have engage, offer, and close. And just as a reminder, I don't expect any of these stages to be groundbreaking. Hopefully you have something in each of these stages already. It's just a matter of revisiting it with this lens to make sure that they are part of a cohesive strategy and to identify areas where you might have bottlenecks or gaps between the different stages. In the create fan section, we have deliver, impress, and then multiply. And I want to underscore multiply because too many businesses treat that as an afterthought rather than a cornerstone of their strategy. So there you have the 9 different stages and the 3 sections that comprise the lifecycle marketing framework. Now, this framework on its surface might feel simple, but I assure you that it is not easy. And the reason that we find this to be universally applicable is because these stages exist in some form or another for every business that we have worked with, right? The individual labels that you give them might change depending on the vernacular your business uses or the industry that you're in, but the concept we find is completely transferable. It is irrefutable, and it is this, right? The goal of these individual stages is to create a customer journey. I think of those stages as like laying the tracks of a roller coaster, right? You're building the experience you want people to have, and the goal should be that there are no gaps in that roller coaster track, right? Not all roller coasters and not all experiences are created equal, and not all experiences or roller coasters are complete, right? So the first stage of applying lifecycle marketing, the first process that you should approach it with is just simply assessing, do I have something in each one of these stages, right? Do we have a complete customer journey? Because if you don't, then that should be your priority, right? That's where you begin, is by making sure you have a strategy, you have an approach in each one of these categories, and that collectively it forms that cohesive experience we are trying to create for our customers. And then step number 2, the second iteration of applying the lifecycle marketing framework, is challenging each one of those sections and asking, okay, now that there's something there, how could it be improved, right? Is this stage optimized? Is it designed with respect to the stages on either side? And is it collectively aligned with like the overarching experience we are trying to create? And then the third and final layer to improving your customer experience, to applying the lifecycle marketing framework, is asking yourself, where could automation make this better, right? Where could we inject automation to enhance and support the customer experience, right? Not only their experience, but also to do the heavy lifting for you and for your team, and to make sure that you are using your own resources, your own time as efficiently as possible, and not doing things manually that are better served to be handled by automation. Okay, so step number 1 here is to create a complete customer journey. Make sure that you have something in each one of these stages. And step number 2 is to then design a great customer journey, is to go back over that with a new lens and to ask, how could it be improved? And are these stages designed with respect to one another and the overarching strategy that we have in place for our business. And then number 3 is to inject automation where appropriate, right? I'm not suggesting that you automate everything because not everything can be automated and not everything that can be automated should be automated, but to be judicious about where you use automation to support and enhance the experience that you are creating for your customers. And here's why this matters. Your customer experience already exists, right? When somebody first interacts with your brand to the point of becoming a customer, to the point of becoming a repeat buyer or a brand advocate, and everything in between, their experience already exists. It's happening with or without your consent. And so it is our opinion that it may as well be something that you have designed rather than just sort of the default of whatever happened because it happened. Okay, so if you comb back over your existing customer experience with this lens, with this framework, you'll spot opportunities to either fill in the gaps or to level up certain elements of their experience, creating an overall more positive and more intentional result. And the reason that matters is because it gives you the confidence to drive traffic to your website, either organically or through paid channels, knowing that the experience that they are going to have is one that you've created and one that you are proud to have represent your brand. Too many businesses are spending money on traffic to put people into a suboptimal experience that either doesn't produce results, or worse, it produces customers who are resentful, who are unhappy, who are actively telling others that they had a bad experience with your brand, right? And paying to create detractors is something that I think nobody is after. So by first designing and optimizing this customer experience, you'll not only produce customers who do the marketing and do the advertising for you, shortcutting and bypassing that initial part of their journey, but it would also allow you to confidently spend your marketing dollars, your ad budget, knowing that the experience that you're going to create is one that you've designed and that you've proven produces the results that both you and your customers are after.
Okay, I want to call your attention to 3 things that Greg said. The first one is he talked about lifecycle marketing as simple. And I want to make a distinction between simple and simplistic. Simplistic is simple but ineffective, and simple is something that understands all of the necessary complexities to be effective, but has simplified it so it's easy to understand, use, and implement. And that's what lifecycle marketing is. It's actually a framework or a tool that helps simplify all the complexity and chaos of your business so you can see it, understand it, and then make decisive decisions around it. The second thing is he talked about labels don't necessarily matter, and I want to reiterate that. What we call these 9 stages in these 3 phases are descriptors, but you can adapt those things to fit your business so that it is more accurate to the journey that your leads, prospects, and customers are having. A quick example is at the African Leadership University, where I have spent time leading. We have changed the names of this framework to be appropriate to our prospect journey. So we don't have offer and close, for example, as the names of our stages. We have apply and admitted. So we've changed those names to be more accurate for our customer journey. And the third thing, and probably the most important thing, is how he talked about the final stage of lifecycle marketing, which is multiply. Multiply is where the cycle in lifecycle marketing actually comes in. It's when we get someone all the way through that journey and we get them to do the thing that we ultimately need for our business to grow exponentially. And that is to multiply our existing customers so that they buy more, they buy again, and or they tell others. And when they buy more, buy again, we don't have to acquire them as a lead. And so we don't spend any more time, energy, or money to get that customer, and we grow our revenue without any additional expenses, hence growth. When they tell others, what they're doing is they're advocating for our brand, and others now accelerate themselves through the customer journey and really join in right at the offer and close stage. It's kind of like skipping the line to get onto the ride, and that's what we want. We want a bunch of people who are accelerating themselves through our journey and becoming our customers and then our raving fans to do our marketing and our sales for us in the future. And so multiply is the most important part of the lifecycle marketing journey, and it's at the end of that chronological sequence. So work hard to make sure you're being deliberate about getting people there and then maximizing those raving fans that you've created at the end. We'll see you on the next video.
All right, so circling back to the asterisk I put on capture leads or collect leads, the reason I take issue with that or that I wanted to expand on that phrase is because saying collect leads or even saying capture leads sort of implies that your target customer, your perfect customer, is just out there, right? Wandering around, just waiting for you to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, come with me, right? Which might be true to a certain extent. But I think that it's limiting if we only think of it that way. I believe that we can also create our perfect customer, right? So yes, if your perfect customer is out there, you should totally collect them and steer them toward the products and services you have that solve their pain point. But you can also take people who are not quite ready and you can help them become your perfect customer, right? You can create your own customers. And I think of like a wine tasting room, right? People who wander in there might be looking for wine, but the experience that they have once they get there helps them understand and appreciate the wines so that they can be a better customer, right? So by giving people some tasting, by giving them some education, by helping them see the process in which the wine is made, they are more capable of appreciating the product that winery produces. And the same thing is true for most businesses. By educating your own prospects, you can create the ideal customer for whom you are the best fit, right? And I say that not to take anything away from hyper-targeting your Facebook ads or your Google ads to find those specific people that are already qualified, but because you can do both. Yes, you can target the people for whom you are already the best fit, but you could also find people who are 1 degree or 2 degrees away from the right fit, and you can help them become more qualified through education, resources, training that guide them toward becoming the ideal customer for whom you have products and services that address their pain points. So I just wanted to expand on that because I find the concept of creating our own customers opens up a lot of opportunities for businesses in terms of both lead acquisition, but also content creation and content strategies in general.